right, the time is 7:40. I will call this regular meeting of the Mayor and Council to order. Today is February 23rd, 2015. All members of the Mayor and Council are present. Tonight we have Dr. Kevin B. Lee, who's the senior pastor at Brienne Christian Church there on on Oak Road, excuse me, who's going to lead us in the invocation tonight.
Let's all bow. Father in heaven, we thank you for this precious time you've given us to come together, to talk about community, talk about county, to talk about how we impact, hallelujah, God, those who are around us. And we pray now that you'll give wisdom, you'll give insight. We thank you for our mayor. We thank you for this council. Now, God, your word says that the answer comes from you. And so we seek to hear from you. We make the plans, but we want to hear from you. Your word asks us to ask you for wisdom. So we ask you for wisdom in all that we say and all that we do. Thank you, God, for all that you're doing. So have your way in these moments that we're here together. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Lee. The announcements for tonight: February is Black History Month. We want to thank again Pastor Lee for coming for Black History Month to give the invocation. We had a proclamation at the last meeting, but since it's the end of the month, we're not going to be giving that. But we'd like to recognize February as Black History Month. We have February 24th. We'll have a planning commission meeting. That has been canceled. March 6th, there will be a blood drive in the community room from 1:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. To learn more about blood donation opportunities, visit www.redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. On March 8th, you can watch a rebroadcast of this council meeting on Comcast Channel 25 at 6:30 p.m. Our next regular scheduled council meeting will be March 9th. We'll have a work session at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room and a council meeting here in council chambers at 7:30. The March 10th Board of Appeals meeting has been canceled, and on March 12th, our next session of the Citizens Police Academy starts over at the police department. It is not too late to register, so come out and join the Citizens Police Academy. We now have our pledge to the flag, and if Captain Roberts would come forward and lead us in the pledge to the flag. All right, next under ceremonial matters, we have Resolution 2015-05, a resolution in recognition of years of service and retirement. Whereas, do you want to wait? read this resolution. It says, whereas Sergeant David Madsen became one of the first K-9 handlers for the Snellville Police Department, going into service on October 4th, 2004. And whereas Sergeant Madsen selected K-9 Chris, a Belgian Malinois, what the chief just said. And whereas K-9 Chris has been an integral part of the Snellville Police Department, providing service and protection to the citizens of the city of Snellville and all our visitors. Whereas K-9 Chris conducted more than 921 narcotic searches, leading to over 175 arrests, with over 70 arrests being felonies. Whereas as an example of the value of Sergeant Madsen and K-9 Chris, the team responded to a potential marijuana grow operation in one of our neighborhoods. Upon arrival of the team, Sergeant Madsen deployed K-9 Chris, who gave an indication of the presence of an odor of a train-controlled substance resulting in the seizure of a vehicle pulling a fifth-wheel recreational vehicle. After Chris subsequently indicated or alerted on the vehicle several times, investigators from the Gwinnett Drug Task Force searched the vehicle without locating any drugs. Because of the continuous display of alert, Sergeant Dean Boone removed a bed and located the 900 pounds of raw marijuana and over $115,000 in cash concealed in a false hidden compartment in the floor of the RV. Whereas Sergeant Madsen and K-9 Chris distinguished themselves in many other ways, including conducting over 70 evidence searches, 11 search and rescue deployments, 234 public relations or demonstration events, and responded to more than 130 call-outs to assist the Snellville Police Department, other agencies located in Gwinnett County, and throughout the state of Georgia. Whereas K-9 Chris completed his tour of duty and service on February 11, 2015, earning his richly deserved retirement from duty. Whereas these officers have gone above and beyond the call of duty by providing assistance and support on their own time. Now therefore be it resolved, the Mayor and City Council of the City of Snellville, Georgia, hereby recognize the loyalty, dedication, professionalism, and service exhibited by Sergeant Madsen and congratulate him and K-9 Chris on his storied career in protecting the lives and property of the people of the City of Snellville, where everyone is proud to be somebody. Resolved this 23rd day of February 2015. Councilman Kraus, do you make a motion to approve Resolution 2015-05? Seconded by Councilman Howard.
Second.
All those in favor of the resolution signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The resolution stands approved. Chief, you have something you want to present?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things that we wanted to point out is that being a K-9 handler means that you're a K-9 family. And if it were not for the families that allow these officers to do what they do with the dogs, that they wouldn't be near as successful. He is part of that family. He lives there. You can tell from what Emily just did that he certainly loves his. that she loves Chris very much. So, in honor of that service, we're going to present this plaque to Sergeant Madsen and Chris for his dedicated service, for his little more than 10 years of service, which is a long time for a dog to be able to stay in service and do the work that he did. And he's just been a really tremendous addition. No, we're not. And just as soon as we finish this presentation, Chris is going to go out and our new K-9 Jax is going to come in and be introduced. And this is our new K-9 Jax, and I'm going to let Sergeant Madsen tell you just a little bit about Jax.
Well, Jax is he's about 15 months old. We got him from a vendor in Pennsylvania, Shallow Creek Kennels. He is actually a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd cross. So what that means is they've taken the best traits of the Malinois and the best traits of this is the new boy. He actually finished his basic training in January. He went in service about the middle of January, and today he actually got his first narcotics arrest on the street. So many good things to come. Big pad or paw pads to fill for him. So we'll see what happens down the road. Right, good boy?
Welcome him, Jax, to Snellville, and we want to thank you and your whole family for the service that you give to our city.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we want to thank our K-9 officers. We are privileged to have a K-9 unit here in the city of Snellville, and all of our police officers. Also want to take a moment to thank our Snellville Citizens Police Academy, because some of their hard work helps to go to the upkeep of our K-9 partners. We now have our minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 8th, 2014 Business and Public Hearing Meeting with amendments?
Yes, I make a motion to approve with the corrections we discussed in the work session, that being changing the word open to opened in 2 locations on page 4.
Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Kraus. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The minutes stand approved. Do I have a motion as to the minutes for the January 26th meeting?
Motion to approve with 1 correction in the work session. There's an I at the end of FBI, should be changed to in.
Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Kraus. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. Those opposed, 0 opposed. The minutes stand approved. Do I have a motion as to the executive session minutes?
Motion to approve executive session minutes for July 17th, July 14th, September 22nd, October 13th, and October 27th.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said July 17th? But there
July
was-
14th.
July 14th, okay. There is a, did you get this? There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Howard. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand.
Before we vote, can you name those again? Because it's not all of them that's on the agenda, is it? Can you just say those one more time?
July 14th, September 22nd, October 13th, October 27th.
So that's everything except for the July 28th and September 8th and November 10th, correct?
November 10th, yes.
You meant, let me just point of clarification, you meant to skip September 8th. We didn't discuss September 8th in the work session. Is that one of the ones you meant to skip? Okay.
Need to do a little bit more research on that.
Okay. Councilman Howard, that's your second? Okay. All those in,
I'm sorry, one more thing. The city attorney also brought up in the work session as to which we'd actually been given 2 forms of the minutes to make sure that we are approving the proper.
is that a
ones that were
motion
presented
to
to us?
approve the most recent amendments that have been circulated amongst the mayor and council?
Yes, I have a copy here I'll forward to the city clerk.
Okay. Does that clarify your?
Yes, thank you.
All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. Those minutes stand approved, and we'll ask that the July 28th, September 8th, and November 10th minutes be carried over to the next agenda. That brings us then to our old business. We have our public hearing, a first reading on CUP 15-01. Do I have a motion to waive the first reading and place this on our March 9th calendar?
Motion to waive first reading and put it on the March 9th calendar.
There's a motion by Councilman Emmanuel, seconded by Councilwoman Kraus. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, I got excited and I skipped all over our department report, so I need to have Ms. Ferris, if she has anything to report tonight. Is Ms. Ferris here? Hiding behind Mr. Thompson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We had no meeting in February.
Thank you, Ms. Ferris.
We like those kind of short reports.
No pun intended, Marcy.
Mr. Scott with the DDA has previously communicated that he has no report to give tonight, and Mr. Sanders has previously communicated, he now has a report to give.
Not a report. I would just like to ask Ms. Ariane Stone, who I think is here. Ariane, stand up. I'd like to introduce our new executive assistant. She is we're very happy to have her. She has a great local government background. I think she's catching on very well. She's kind of like drinking from a fire hose with some training from Karen McKay this week. But everybody needs to come by, say hello to Ariane. I think she's going to be a great addition to the city.
Okay. That then brings us to our old business public hearing item B, which is first reading on CUP 15-02. Do I have a motion to waive the first reading and place it on our March 9th agenda?
So moved.
There's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Witz. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Emmanuel. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. 6 in favor. Those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. Then we have second reading on LUP 1501 and RZ 1501. This is consideration action on applications by Raymond W. Williams, the estate of Rebecca Minor, and Linwood Development Group, LLC, to amend the land use plan and official zoning map of the city of Snellville, and request for certain variances from RS 150 criteria for a 45-lot, single-family residential development on 14.858 plus or minus acre site located near 1520 Tree Lane. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Once again, it's case number LUP 15-01, RZ 15-01, submitted by Linwood Development, represented by Marion Adami of Anderson, Tate & Carr, with an official request to amend the land use plan from medium-density residential to low-density residential, and to also amend the zoning map from RHOP 55 single family to RS 150 single family residence, with several variances associated to reduce lot sizes and setbacks that are consistent with the previously approved zoning known as East Side Village that had 100 or so homes. A little background on the property: it's a 14.25 acre property. On March 24th in 2008, was annexed in from the county and zoned for a 64-unit RHOP single-family quadruplex development that was supposed to be built by the Orchards, ranch-style quadruplexes at 4.1 units per acre. That development failed to materialize, and so we have this one now before us. Here's kind of a conceptual look of the continuation of the smaller lot neighborhood homes into the new portion, or the next phase. These lots are a little bit larger, so the requested variances are less strict towards the code. They're a little bit larger. They back up to Waterford Township as well. They've proposed to leave a 25-foot buffer there to be planted where needed as approved by the homeowners. They've also relocated the amenity area to coincide with the existing one to the north, so that any adverse impacts will be negated. Also utilize some of the stream buffer area there to be used as green space for the residents. You'll also notice that there is now another exit to the south that dumps out into the highway there, and then one main entrance on Tree Lane. The future land use map is in compliance with this amendment. It's actually a down zoning and a less intensive land use. The density will be less than 4, thus qualifying it for a low density residential zoning category. It's in compliance with the Scenic Highway North Character area as well. The variances, I won't read all of those into the record, but they're similar to the ones that were presented as part of the East Side Village. Reduction in the maximum lot size, some of the widths on the street, and then some of the side yards, and an increase in the total amount of maximum ground coverage from 25 to 65. Let's go one more thing. This is a look at just the new portion. I believe it's close to 45 lots. Once again, we recommend approval, and we have any questions, please ask them now.
Jason, I've just got one. The lot sizes on this development are a little larger than the other initial piece, right?
Yes, sir. These
Okay.
are an average of 6,000 square feet, and I believe the other ones were closer to 5.
5, right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's, I just,
Any other questions for Mr. Thompson? Would the applicant like to say anything? You don't have to.
Very briefly. Thank you again for having us. This has been almost a year in the making, so I appreciate you guys again welcoming us over and over again to look at the details of the prior development in this one. We think this will be a great addition. Again, we've met with the homeowners and walked through and worked through those conditions, and we'd ask that you approve with the staff recommended conditions and variances. I don't know that my support is here like they have been in the past, but we do have Mr. Williams here on behalf of the family who has owned this property for some time and was at one time a resident of Snellville, and I think they're pleased to see this turn into a quality development. I'm happy to answer any questions about the site itself.
certainly your adversaries are not here like they were.
You know, only when it counts.
Does anybody have any real questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, before you sit down, let me just ask you for the record, are you in agreement with any conditions that have been proposed by the planning department?
We are in agreement with all of the proposed conditions and variances as submitted by the planning department.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This is on for a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this proposed development? Come forward now, state your name and address for the record.
Jerry Oberholzer, 1855 Pennystone Way, Snellville, Georgia. I was here tonight, so I knew I had to speak on something. I would thank the developer for doing away with that awful development that passed on the orchards. That was an awful development, had no green space. But I do have one question about the layout of the subdivision streets. What you have is knuckle cul-de-sacs, and I understand as a member of council back in the early part of the decade, last decade, we outlawed those. It looks like we're going back to an 80s type layout, and I just wondered, question about this, is this plan something that, since it's approved tonight, is binding, or is there actually this road layout going to be massaged to bring within standards?
I've only been a part of one neighborhood that had these before in the Preserve at Briscoe. I think there's 2 in here, and there's maybe 4 in theirs, and they applied for and did receive a modification, development regulations modification administratively. And I'm pretty sure this is the set site layout, unless the applicant wants to change it. And we typically ask the engineer for those type of reviews, and it's been granted favorably in the past.
So I don't,
What I would say, I don't object to the zoning, since I live in that neighborhood, and this is better than what was originally zoned or what was rezoned for. I just think the layout is basically, we've done a lot of work over the years here in Snellville over the last decade and a half to do something better. These knuckle cul-de-sacs just don't work anywhere. We've not allowed those in all the subdivisions I've been involved in, and I just think this is a bad precedent. But with that, I would just point that out for the record.
And so, Mayor, just to clarify what you're talking about, it's these half cul-de-sacs that we
Yeah, I
see in
mean-
the drawing. And so if council so wished, we could approve this with conditions that, about
Well,
the half cul-de-sacs, or we could leave it as it stands.
The issue is, as I view it, is this becomes, usually when you attach this as part of the plan, it has to be developed in it. It doesn't, your rezoning does not unless you're granting them a variance at this time to put those in, it still has to go through your submittals and has to go through all the design. And I just wanted to make sure that this was something that was at least going to get looked at as an engineering design. And this didn't become a precedence, even though we haven't done subdivision work in Snellville. There's not land to do that. It's just, they're not good design standards. And we had basically outlawed those years ago. But with that, I would thank you for your time.
Hang on, Mayor, just one sec. When you talk knuckle, I mean, and it looks to me that this, the first one coming in this way and up, that you're calling this,
It-
right?
Yeah,
That right there.
that's a knuckle, and then up at the corner.
And then, but looking at taking that and doing away with it, it brings, in order to straighten this street out, that brings this almost to a point, this almost to a point, which gives you no driveway.
Well,
Is that-
what,
Am I seeing it right?
and having done subdivision work many years ago, you basically put these in to increase the lot yields. Because what would happen if you didn't have that, the frontages, you would probably lose, this development would probably lose between 4 and 5 lots. By putting those in, it allows your yields to get up. I mean, they're not good, it's not a good design from a road design standpoint. It's just a way to get additional lots in there. And that's why they're there, because now what you've done is you've given frontage on 2 lots. It gets your lot yield up, and that's what it is. And, you know, if you go back and look in the 80s, when I did my work, we did them all the time, and they just weren't a good design practice. And we eliminated those just to get away from those kind of shoehorned lots in there. I mean, I think this other plan has great things. It has another access. It allows the subdivision to have 2 access, which is great. And it's, like I said, it's better than the orchards that had no green space whatsoever. But I just think from a standpoint of where we were on our design standards and neighborhood design, I think they could go back and look at it. They would lose some lots, but knowing what probably they're paying for this, I don't see any reason they couldn't lose it. But I just asked the council to, not grant any variance and allow that at least to go through engineering before anything was done. Thank you again for your time.
Ms. Kraus, Councilwoman Kraus?
Could I have Mr. Thompson approach the dais, please?
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this off because I don't know if this is appropriate to have a discussion here, Mr. Powell. Is this okay? Should we have a recess? Yeah, let's have a 5-minute recess. All right, the time is 8:13. We'll reconvene. We were in the public hearing portion of this. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment for or against this development? Please come forward. Okay.
If I could have an opportunity just to rebut for the record, because this is a 2-street neighborhood and a smaller lot size or property size, and because we're adding green space and reducing density, I'd ask that we leave the site plan as it's designed. And I think that those features add safety and also give it an appropriate design while leaving these as large lots and again a reduction in density. But I'm happy to answer questions about it.
Thank you. Do I have a motion by council? Sorry, Mr. Schultz?
Kurt Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive. I know I'm not a civil engineer, I'm an architect, and I kind of like this design. I think if you took those knuckles out of there and reduced the number of lots, you know, it's going to create some huge lots, which are going to be out of proportion with the rest of the lots. And in a development this small, I just don't see that these so-called knuckle things are going to cause any problems. I'd prefer to see it like it is. Thank you.
Tricia Rollins, 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. We happen to have one in our neighborhood at, on Williamsdown Circle, which has been an added benefit to our neighborhood. I enjoy it. If I need to turn around, I go to the half circle, turn around, and go back the other way. So it's a benefit to our neighborhood.
Any additional public comment? See none, I'll close the public comment portion of this, public hearing portion of this agenda item and open up a motion by council.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve with conditions LUP 15-01.
There is a motion by Councilman Kraus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Witz. Any further discussion of council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. LUP 15-01 stands approved. Do you have a motion as to RZ?
Motion to approve with conditions RZ 15-01.
There is a motion by Councilman Kraus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Witz. Further discussion of council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That is 6 in favor. Those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. And that brings us then to second reading for ordinance 2015-01. This is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Snellville, Georgia to revise Chapter 54-171, Residential Community Sales and Canvassing Business License to specifically amend Section 54-171, subsection C1, to add 2 additional paragraphs to the application standards to include certain language required by the Federal Bureau of Investigation for access to nationwide records. Somebody want to give us some background, Mr. Sanders? Or how about Councilwoman Kraus, you want, or Mr. Powell? This is.
Let me just have my say here. This is housekeeping. This is verbiage that is required by the Federal Bureau of Investigation for us to do background checks nationwide. We're not going to just check via the state of Georgia. We are going to check the applicants nationwide. In order to do that, we have to go through the FBI. And they require us to put this paragraph in our ordinance in order for this to proceed. Do you have anything else to add to that, Mr. Powell?
Just exactly right.
And she's not an attorney.
This is on for a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak for or against this proposed amendment, come forward to state your name and address for the record. See no public comments. I'll close the public hearing portion of this agenda item and open it up for a motion by council.
Motion to approve ordinance 2015-01 as read into the record.
There is a motion by Councilman Emanuel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Kraus. Additional discussion of the council. While I did not support the original ordinance that was drafted, this is, like Councilwoman Kraus said, housekeeping matters, and so I will support this housekeeping matter tonight. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by raising your right hand. 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. That brings us to new business. We have consideration action on award of bid for stormwater drainage projects. Mr. Sanders, do you want to give us some background?
When the bids came in on 7 stormwater drainage projects, proposed projects, the low bid went to A&S Paving, $410,255.20. Public Works has had a chance to review their proposal. I've been in touch with them, and we are all unanimous in recommending the acceptance of that bid and allowing the mayor to sign the contract.
Do I have a motion to award the bid not to exceed $410,255.20 and to authorize the mayor to execute the contract?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Emmanuel. Any further discussion of council? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. B, consideration and approval of South Gwinnett High School to use the stage. This is for South Gwinnett to use their stage for their Fine Arts Festival on March 28th, 2015. Do I have a motion to approve execution of a contract, to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with South Gwinnett High School?
Motion to approve mayor executing a contract with South Gwinnett High School.
There is a motion by Councilman Emmanuel. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Kraus. Any further discussion of council? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. C, consideration action on approval of Snellville Tourism and Trade STAT contract. This is our annual contract with Snellville Tourism and Trade. They are the marketing and tourism agency of the city that we have elected to give our hotel motel tax to. It's my understanding there's no significant changes in this contract from previous years. Is that correct, Mr. Sanders?
That's correct. The calendar has been updated, and there has been an awful lot of communication and coordination with STAT, between STAT and city partners, and I feel very good about the proposed contract.
Do I have a motion to approve the proposed contract and authorize the mayor to sign?
Motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign
There is
contract with STAT.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those, is there any further discussion of council? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. You can't vote. 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. The last item on the agenda was consideration action against House Bill 170, the transportation bill. This was originally on our agenda at the beginning of February before the HB 170 went to committee. It has since come out of committee, and the committee made some amendments to this bill, and so I'm withdrawing my sponsorship of this agenda item tonight. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with HB 170. That brings us now to our council reports. Mr. Witts.
Drive safe home. I don't really have anything tonight. Thank you all for coming out.
I just wanted to say that Councilman Howard and I had the opportunity to go up to Georgia Gwinnett College last week. If you're unfamiliar with that, become familiar with it. It's a great institution. It's right here in Gwinnett, and they're doing great things. And I think it's just going to be a continuing asset to the county.
Thank you. It's time for pictures. They call that comedic timing. Hey, the Cop Cab. Pretty exciting weekend, and a couple of things going on in the next month with the Cop Cab. If you're unfamiliar, that's in front of our wonderful jail detention center. The next one, Erica. And I do spend some time over there, but I get to pass in and out. The Legacy Beverage Center continues to have comments made about the appearance of the Cop Cab up there. Apparently it stuck with a lot of people. They handed out brochures to everybody that made a purchase that day on the New Year's Day, the New Year's Eve. And it's just been a remarkable thing that I hear all across the impact that it's making. So I want to, again, reemphasize this year's going to be even bigger and better. And to get to that bigger and better, we have been invited by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. They are actually, Mr. Blackwood and his group are sponsors of the race this weekend, and they are sponsoring the qualifying day. And they're going to have their big tent, and they're going to have driving simulators, they're going to have drug education, they're going to have driving education, they're going to have all kind of neat things. So if you happen to know you're going to the race, if you know somebody that's going, let them know that the Cop Cab's going to be a feature at their tent all weekend. It'll be there for all 3 days. They're very excited about the attendance because they've heard some really good things about it as well. So, and then next month we've got a week-long thing with the car over at Brookwood High School, and you'll hear more about that as we get that lined up. So, a lot of really good things. Want to thank everybody for their support of that. Again, continue to shop local, support our city and what you're doing. Thank you all for the opportunity to sit here and represent you and everything that's going on here. Again, drive safe. Thanks again for hanging out. I did.
For the mayor's report, a few things. I used to look at my phone and have pictures of ribbon cuttings and things like that. Now I look at my phone and it's all pictures of Preston, and so I have no pictures tonight. I do want to welcome Denny's. This may be a dangerous subject, but I want to welcome Denny's to the city of Snellville. But we had their official grand opening a week ago.
The marketing guy's right here.
Yeah. Mr. Denny.
And so we are happy that is an example of a vacant building being turned into a vibrant, successful restaurant. So thank you. Also want to share, I received a letter from the Salvation Army. Many of you came out for the Christmas tree lighting, and I was honored to put the first donation in the red bucket at the Christmas tree lighting, and then several of you followed suit. And so we received a letter. The 2014 Red Kettle campaign with the Salvation Army was able to raise $427,000 this year, and that's a 10% increase from last year. So I want to thank everyone that was able to donate to that campaign. They do great things in our community. And then finally, I mentioned before, but GMA is having a contest. If you have a sixth grader, if you know a sixth grader, it's an essay contest. The students at Snellville Middle School and Grace Snell are participating in it, and it's If I Were Mayor for a Day. It's a statewide contest, and there are prizes for the top winners, and so we would be happy if someone from Snellville could claim the prize. So if you know anyone, the deadline for them to submit their essay is March 6th, so it is next week. So with that, I will conclude my mayor's report and open it up for public comment. If you'd like to say anything, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Mayor, Council, Jamie Dempsey, 430 Crested View Drive, Loganville. I'd like to invite all of you and ladies and gentlemen behind me as well to another ribbon cutting tomorrow evening from 5 to 7 o'clock at Advanced Urology. They're opening their second building at 1557 Janmar, and that ribbon cutting will be from 5 to 7 p.m. This is a combined event with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, and they're going to be hosting a nice, after-hours event at their practice. Mr. Schultz asked if they were giving away free samples, and the answer is no. But please come out and enjoy a good time and meet some business folks out in the Snellville community. We can arrange for one. So, thank you.
We're all going to Denny's.